was there. I don't have to listen to it.
This week's show because it was a disaster.
When you live in a beach resort, it's easy to forget whether you are playing or working. On each week's show, we settle in with a cocktail and try to figure out if there is a difference. This is Day Drinking on Delmarva.
I'm Todd from GoodCleanFunLife.com.
And I'm Tony Russo, no relation, and you're listening to the Delmarva Day Drinking Podcast, where we've been off for the longest since this show. We like to brag, has been on for just about 20 years, 18 or 19 years.
Yeah.
And this is the longest we've gone without recording. We booked our vacations back to back. So Todd took off 3 weeks and I took off 3 weeks. We took off one of the same weeks. So I think this is the first show in, let's say a month. A month. Yeah, maybe 5 weeks even.
Yeah.
And so what we're going to do is we're going to catch up with you and with one another because we did have lots of great adventures. So my daughter used to work for the USDA. She got the USDA-ified because we don't need government anymore. And I'm glad. Government is for stupid people. But honestly, though, it was tough. But we had planned to go out and visit her, and I had paid for all of the campsites and for the house. And rather than not go and lose a chunk of money, we went and spent a chunk more money because that's why I live in such a palatial space, because I know how to manage money. Oh, I could lose $90. Well, then I better spend $3,000. And so we drove to Pullman, Washington, and we're the only people there purely on vacation because no one in their right mind would go to Pullman, Washington just to go on vacation. Unless they went to school there.
I'm sure Pullman is a nice place with some nice
it's a great
people.
place. Yeah, no, it's a great place with great people. It is the home of Washington State University, and they're like a Division I football team. So people do go there for vacation.
Oh, sure.
But they go there for football-based vacation. They go there for college-based vacations. They don't go there just to try out the pizza. And we had plenty of great adventures. The one that I want to mention before we get to in what Todd has been up to is my daughter and my son-in-law and my grandchildren came along, and my daughter decided that she wanted to try to buy ice cream from an ice cream stand in every state on the way up and on the way back. And
that's fun.
Yeah, I think we got 11. There was one place in Indiana, which is a piece of shit place. It's called Fat Boy's Piece of Shit. And they were supposed to be open. And then when I went in, the girl behind the counter they have a burger joint and an ice cream store. And I said, "Is the ice cream store open?" And she's like, "I think so. Is the guy there?" I'm like, "Yeah, the guy's there and he's serving ice cream. I just wanted to test you." And so she's like, "Did you knock hard?" And I'm like, "You know what? I'm going to punch this window until the police come." And I didn't.
You're not above that.
No, I know I'm not, but I knocked on it for a long time and they didn't come. So we got screwed out of ice cream in Indiana. But Indiana, I think we all can agree, is if it's not the worst state, it's in the bottom 4.
I have a strong opinion that I think it's Springfield, Ohio, is like the armpit of the country.
That doesn't shock me. Oh, Ohio's a close second.
Yeah.
We have a soft spot for Cincinnati here in this house because that's where my wife was from, but she's no fan of Ohio. She's not the Ohio State type person. So what have you been doing for the last month?
You know what's fun is I've been off of social media ish for the past it will be a month next week.
Wow.
So I often joke, and I think the reason I got off social media is because we haven't been talking, because this is, after all, marketing therapy for
social
old
media
guys.
Marketing therapy.
Social media marketing. And no, I'm just, it's been crazy with, of course, what's going on in the world, but also kind of the situation. We talk a lot about, what's going on in the social media space, and for good reason. There's been some changes with some clients that we have, and I just got to the point where I couldn't I couldn't participate personally in it, and I needed and it was driving me mad that it was hurting my creativity. So I deleted the apps off my phone. Of course, I'm still connected on the desktop, and still checking in. We have a ton of clients, and we have our own personal pages, but the point of it really to be more focused on creating in a vacuum that is absent of all of this other shit of people telling you what you should do or feeling like you should be doing what other people are doing, because it's all shit. It's all a race to a bottom, all
Oh,
these. And so for my mental health and for my professional health, I got it off of my phone. So
yeah, no,
that's that's
it's
what
an
I've been doing.
absolute pleasure to be off or mostly off social media. I was so disconnected. Um, my son-in-law is Iranian,
Mhm.
and my daughter called to tell me that there was a war, and I had no idea. She's like, "His family's okay," and I'm like, "Oh, what happened?" She's like, "There's a war." I'm like, "Oh, is there?"
They're getting bombed.
I heard I heard I heard Francisco Alvarez got sent down from the Mets, but that's the only news I've heard this week. And
I
so,
mean,
you do if there's a guilt, but I think that the guilt is pressed upon us by this idea that knowing somehow helps. And, I
right.
have a degree in history, and guess what? Knowing does not help.
Yeah,
Knowing
yeah,
makes things worse.
yeah.
So
Yeah, because then
as I said,
you're just in your head about everything, it's like, "Ah, could that happen? It could," like, "Man, fuck it, let's see,"
yeah,
like.
I've been journaling for a while. I mean, for years, but I've just that's the same thing. My creativity has been going into my work and not into social media. Although, starting probably next week, I got an idea from someone else that I'm going to try as a way of kind of finding so as you know, if you're a listener, I've talked about it before. If there was a long time I was doing the best sentence I've written all day,
Yeah, I
and
love that.
people got a kick out of that, and it was it was fun, but it just got tedious after a while, and it also got to be a reminder that I wasn't writing every day, and that was hard to stomach. So now what I'm doing is starting with my next post, which is going to be on Sunday, or maybe starting with my sharing this post. I'm going to return to Instagram with a
Mm,
paragraph that I'm just right. We're listening to this. This is what happened on this show. Link in the bio. Just pow
yeah.
pow pow. And
So,
I'm going
yeah,
to,
front facing, you talking, this is what's happening.
and
I
that's it.
love that. I love
Yeah,
that.
and that's my new social media plan. I think that because it does both things. It lets me make video, which I
Mhm.
don't want to do.
Hmm,
And it lets me promote things, which I also don't wanna do,
right,
but it's a really effective way, and honestly, I got it from a post on Substack where they're like, "Alright, so you're off social media and you're just on Substack, but you can't get anybody to join you on Substack. We
right.
understand. If you wanna get people to join you on Substack, this is a way that we recommend doing it." So,
It's pretty low, effort, right? But it's
yeah,
also turns out very advantageous to the algorithm at this point, whatever they call it,
the short form.
founder content,
Oh.
you talking about what's going on. So I think that's fantastic.
What I feel like my trope is gonna be, because I'm not any good without a trope. What I what I feel like my trope is gonna be is I'll do it for this podcast. I promise Friday, this will
Okay.
come out. Um, I always put the podcast in AI just to see what AI thinks of it, and AI has no idea what we're doing.
They can't
Um
follow us.
Right, they can't. They're like, "This is," because they also have to throw in, 1,000, marketing type words. So,
Yeah, yeah.
learn the difficult story of how Todd had trouble finding his shoes or whatever bullshit, right? And so, I'm gonna ask it to write me a 100-character meta description of the show, and
Okay.
I'm going to read it, and then I'm gonna say what the show is about. This is
Yeah.
what AI thinks the show is about. Read it.
Right.
This is
Right.
what the show is really about.
This is what it's actually about.
Decide for yourself. and that's gonna be my trope.
And as testimony, or example of the realness of the show after being off for 5 weeks, the beginning of the show, I
I'm
made it
gonna cut
harder
it.
for you. I made it harder for you. We coulda, we usually just, like, cut and upload, but, man, we really screwed the pooch on that, but that's alright.
That's it's part of getting back to work. And speaking of getting back to work, how is the restaurant business?
So, this is fun. I've been at the restaurant for 3 weeks, 3 months now, and,
Months, weeks, years.
weeks, well, yeah. It's been great. So last month, I have, filmed and or started, about 25 projects.
That's great.
I was just been rolling through some stuff. A lot of it is like, front loading, musical act recordings at the Starboard so we can promote them all summer long. Of course, Freeman Arts Pavilion starting up and doing some not just performance, stuff there, but also some more promotional and, event-based stuff. So I've had all of these projects that, I filmed and am working through even still, but working in the restaurant, has been a great way to rewire my brain outside of the project mindset and just
Mhm.
the rinse and repeat. And, it's been a long time since I've had to be somewhere from this time to this time.
Yeah, that's
And
crazy.
and, you know, I I love the guys, that I work with. I love the owners. It's a good recipe. There's lots of room for improvement on my end and overall, so it's fun to be part of something like that. But it also makes me realize, so I got all these projects I have to do. It's like, well, I just did a 12-hour day on my feet making, expoing and making salads and a kitchen for whatever, 40-seat restaurant. And like, I could do the same thing to get through these projects. I'm so, I have such a thing. It's like, oh, well, my creative processes, I have to sit and I have to,
Hem
scroll
and
for an
haw.
hour. Yeah, hem and haw. I have to download, upload, proxy, I realized that I put all of these things that are necessary, but kind of roadblocks in my way that I have to check off the list before I get to it. But I'm like, well, fuck, I'm just gonna, I I can bury my head and get through it,
Yeah, turn
and
and burn.
I will feel better in the end. Uh, and again, it's great working with people, that are just have different personalities and different, quirks and that sort of thing. And I'm finding it very, very rewarding. And they pay me. How about that? It's
The hell you
unbelievable.
say.
Yeah.
Speaking of not working, speaking of not getting paid, that's a bad segue because I wouldn't have taken money. But I have, and I wanna tease this. This is a world exclusive. I won't say the title in case it changes.
Mm.
But I have been given the honor and the privilege of getting a sneak peek at Stephanie Fowler's next book, and it's
Oh,
really good. And I think people are gonna get a huge kick out of it. It's probably got maybe 6 more months to cook,
yeah.
but I mean, it's finished, and now it has to be, I think I'm reading. I don't think I'm reading the final draft, but I think I'm reading a later draft,
Yeah.
and it's really good. It's so involved, and it has to do with, a double murder in Salisbury and a prison break and a culture
Ooh.
of prison breaks and a culture of prison, abuses. And it looks at you got the
Yeah.
good guys, like there are no good guys, there are no bad guys, there are just people kind of struggling to do what they can with what they've been
So
given.
it's autobiographical about Stephanie breaking out of prison?
It was about that time. She broke out of prison and she had a knife to guards, and she didn't even have a knife. She actually just dug her teeth into their chests and ripped their heart out that way. That
That's
was for
that's
Patty on the off. Patty listens 80% of the time, so hopefully she hears
oh,
that. She'll get a kick
I
out of
miss
it.
Patty.
Yeah, I miss
That
everybody. I've been locked in my house all by myself for the last 6 years, so,
yeah,
uh,
yeah. COVID is over, Tony. You can come out of the house.
Yeah, I've been out of the house.
You've been
So,
to
there
Washington
were
State.
2 road rage incidents that I think that both you and the listeners will appreciate. Um, and they actually, they both stem from my daughter's agreement with me. And
Mhm.
her agreement was that I couldn't go more than 5 miles over the speed limit.
Oh,
So
wow.
that's hard for
That
me.
that's tough for you.
That's really hard for me.
I can imagine.
Actually, so later on, spoilers toward the end of the story, um, I was driving by myself. They had already gone a place and it was just Kelly and I was in Wyoming, I think, and I wanted to just go as fast as I could go. And so I put my foot down to just see how fast I could go before I chickened out. And it got to 99 miles an hour. And then a little pop up came up that said, "This truck has a limiter on it." And
Oh.
I have never been so disappointed. Um, Also, if you're shopping for a truck, GMC makes a pickup truck. And if you buy it, you're a moron. And I don't want to hear your complaints.
Okay.
One of the things that this truck does, and of course, they always turn on all the features, but one of the things was you couldn't put it into gear without putting your seatbelt on first.
Ugh.
And I'm up, start the car, drive away, then tune the radio, then put the seatbelt on. I know eventually I'll kill somebody, but that's just my thing. I
Right.
hate when cars
But
make me do things.
likely kill yourself.
Yes, more
Because you'll
likely than
be
not.
yeah, yeah.
So anyway,
That's your
so I'm
prerogative.
driving along at 5 miles over the speed limit, making all sorts of friends. And this guy comes up, and apparently this is a story from Kelly. He kind of like half leans out the window and gives me the finger and keeps on going.
Uh-huh.
And I was sorry that I didn't see it because I'd been playing with my grandchildren earlier, and I was driving along with a 4th of July hat on. So it was like one of those alien antennas with the
Uh-huh.
little red, white, and blue
Stars.
sparkly pom-poms on the top of it. And if I had been able to look at a man who was giving me the finger in the face and smile and wave with my little pom-pom sled, that would have been the best 30
Y
seconds of my life,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
But that didn't happen, and then later on, I had tried to make a dick move, and I gave up on it because I realized I was making a dick move, and and I was being unsafe. So I backed off of trying to pass this person, and I'm like, "You know what? I That was dumb of me." And then later on, they hunted me down and, like, threw their car into, like, park or whatever. They stopped short in front of me. But
Uh,
I'm good at stopping short, so it scared Kelly. It didn't scare me. And then they went and they wanted to invite me to fight them, and they pulled off, and they're like, "Follow me so we can fight." And they were like pulling it, and so this person I did see, and this was a little tiny woman
who wanted to
who
fight you.
who wanted to fight me, and I was really happy to have a road rage incident that involved a woman for a change, instead of just 2 guys, like, dick measuring about who could be the most evil and
Yeah,
dangerous on the road.
yeah.
It's about time women, started picking fights on the road and driving aggressively dangerously. I feel good. It's a
Yeah.
patriarchy's coming down.
Well, but it also sounds a little one-sided. It sounds like you made an attempt, you backed off, like, there wasn't you weren't having the rage.
No,
You
no, I
weren't
wasn't
y
having the rage.
yeah. Well,
Yeah,
that's
no,
probably
and
good. That's refreshing too for you not to be raging.
yeah, well, road rage is I only get mad at people who are driving like I was driving. And and my wife challenged me on it, and it was, it's been a weird political couple of weeks. And I'm like, "I fucking hate Americans. I'm driving like this from now on."
Yeah.
That was that's my revenge.
Your rationale.
That's my revenge for the way that my fellow citizens have chosen to run this country. Is
Yeah.
I'm gonna start driving the way I hate people to drive.
Like a
Um,
true patriot with,
like
stars and stripes on
I'm gonna
antennas on your head.
drive like you drive. You wanna vote like you vote, I'm gonna drive like you drive. How's that?
Yeah.
Where do you see that? So though that was my introduction to a trip that actually went very well, and I have no complaints. I never get tired of driving across the country once I
Yeah.
get to the Mississippi River. Like, yeah, I don't have a problem with, West Virginia. Well, actually, we stayed in West Virginia. It was beautiful.
Yeah.
But I've seen it. I'd like to get out to where the mesas and the buttes and the stuff is, and,
Mhm.
um, I'm always shocked. I know I say this every year, and this is like the 6th year, but I'm just always shocked at how much space there is. I'm like, "Why are you
Big
building strip
country.
malls? Everybody could have their own double-decker mall out in Montana." There is so much space, you wouldn't believe it.
Yeah.
And the thing that I got to show my grandkids this time, which I only get to see when I'm out there, is you can see the rainstorms for miles and miles and
Mm.
miles around. And
Yeah.
I always think it's cool when you just see this gray stripe and you're like, that's
Yeah.
pouring. That's pouring
Yeah,
on someone
it's
right
it's
now.
dumping. Yep.
And it's not me. So
I don't know if I mentioned it when we did a road trip southern route, right? We ended up in Austin was our final destination, but we
mm,
went by way of Nashville and then down to New Orleans. And then so New Orleans to Texas. That is an interesting trip. Um, First of all, like New Orleans, or you're driving across the bayou and like, oh, this is definitely where you could hide a body.
oh yeah.
Like, because it's like you're on a low bridge for miles and miles and miles and miles, and there's just swamp on either side of you. But one of the things that I found real interesting is once you got into Texas, is you would pass a or no, you'd come up on a fence, and it's like, a nondescript but distinct fence,
Mm,
maybe it's 3 rails, black, and, something every once in a while, and you would see that fence for 20 minutes as you're driving, and then there'd be the entrance to a place that was connected to the fence,
right.
right? And it would say something, there'd be a Camp
Double
Charles,
R bar. Yeah. Yeah.
double yeah, and then you would drive another 20 minutes, half hour, and the same fence. It's like we
Yeah.
just drove past one piece of property for almost an hour. It's
It is.
baffling to me
It's
how big it
baffling
is.
how much space we have, but it's I know. I genuinely enjoy traveling, and I'm really hoping this is so Kelly's getting ready to retire in the spring, well, the summer,
Mm,
and I think we're going to do a lot more of that. I've been practicing writing on the road. I'm not as good at it as I wish I was. I'm good at journaling on the road, but I've got this huge computer and like typing on a laptop, it feels like my phone at this
yeah,
point. Like I can't write
yeah,
on my phone and I can't write in my laptop because I mean, I make myself write on the laptop, but writing on the phone has been difficult for me, and that's the other thing that has helped me not miss social media very much because that's I haven't posted anything to Twitter from my phone in it could be 3 years,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
Um, and, uh, just that muscle is dead. I can't use these 2 fingers.
yeah, yeah,
I wrote it in a recent blog post. I need all 10 fingers are hooked up to my brain, and if I wanna tell a story, it has to go through all 10 fingers. Going through the 2
yeah.
fingers is not possible for me. Um
Well, let me ask you a question of somebody who has been at it for a little while. I made a post when I exited, and I made a comment about, saying I'm exiting is pretty pretentious. But
Right.
the point of it too was to hold myself accountable a little bit, because
Mhm.
like I have 5 screens in front of me right now that all are linked to different accounts that I could easily do it. But like having it on your phone is I think the part where it really gets. I wanted to break that muscle. And
Right.
as time has been going on, I'm finding myself less and less, uh, like wanting to check. Like the craving is dissipating. But I'm coming up on a month, and I thought about and I'm like, do I be double down on the pretentiousness and like come back and be like, this is what I've learned. About myself, and then continue, or do I just I'm trying to figure out what the next step for me is,
On social media.
for social yeah, for like and again, it's my personal account on social media is where it has been, um, and I do miss some of the communication that, that kind of comes with that. There are definitely some people that I would only communicate with on either Messenger or Instagram. So yeah, like, what do you think? Do you keep rolling with it, or do you point it out, or do you?
Right, no, I would just not address it. I'm actually trying as you were talking, I was trying to log back in. I wanna see the last thing that I said on Twitter, and it's like, did you know that you haven't used this in 1,000 years?
Right.
So, I don't know. Oh, there's a code. I gotta wait till I get another code and
What
enter the new strong password, and then I will tell you the last thing. But I would just pick it up, and, continue on as you have as if nothing happened.
Yeah.
Like, you don't owe anybody
Any explanation?
any explanations, and I just
Well,
wanted
and
to, because now
I
I'm
might
so
go a little
curious.
bit longer too, right? So my birthday is next month, so I might just like I'll just run it to my birthday, and then and then see what happens.
Yeah, well, I mean,
Because
and which one are you talking about?
Facebook and Instagram and TikTok, I've gotten again off my phone. The account still exists,
I would pick
um,
one. That might be
might be the
the
move.
the move. So on February 29, 2004, I wrote, "Does this work yet?" Trying to post, a Substack picture, and then I commented to myself, "Nope." And that was February 29th, 2024 was the last time I logged
Right.
into Twitter, formerly known as X.
And also that is solidifying you as an early adopter of Substack, right? Is that
Oh, yeah, no, I was re I all the famous people are starting to show up on Substack, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little irritated.
yeah,
And
yeah.
I'm glad because, as long as the company has money, they won't charge me for using it. But, my wife is more popular on Substack than me. That's also very, very difficult. But, I if you're looking to that's what I would recommend for you to do. Just start with
I know.
Substack.
I know, that's what I need to do. I
You
know
could
that I need to do that, and
download the app and just put stuff on Substack. You can do video, you can do audio, you can do typing,
yeah,
and, that's what again, I've been completely on Substack, but I don't use it as a social media. I still just use it mostly as an email client
yeah,
for my many, many emails.
yep.
Speaking of
I
which, go
think
ahead.
I think a lot of things are gonna change after this week. I think I'm gonna because I'm not working at the restaurant. We don't have any shoots, and as I said, I've been very busy adding more workload. So now it's like process, and I'm gonna take the next couple days, and I'm gonna get through as much as I can. I'm not gonna get through everything, but I'm gonna get through as much as I can, and um that's been my desire to either focus on YouTube or to focus on Substack or both. I mean, like,
I think YouTube and Substack. I think that so when I do that front facing thing, I'll
mhm.
do it on YouTube and on Instagram for that
I tell
for
you,
that reason.
one of the benefits of some things changing and having other creators help the clients or our biggest clients, Starboard, uh, do the trendy shit, which I just can't stand. But it serves a purpose. I understand that. It's just not for me. But so like I don't have to worry about that. I may never make another vertical video. Like I probably will, but like
That is hysterical. I'm going to start and you're going to stop. Is only one of us will make vertical videos at the same time?
only one of us can. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like between the two of us, there's only one
There
can
can
be
be
doing
only
that.
one.
Yeah,
It's the Highlander of vertical videos.
but yeah, that I mean, and YouTube and Substack, are perfect platforms for that.
Yes, yes, and maybe that's what I'll start doing. Maybe I'll also put those videos on Substack because Substack loves videos and they love to share them. So,
Yeah.
um, But
Well,
I'm go ahead.
tell me again, or uh, so as I'm as my social media therapist,
Uh-huh.
the the thing that's been in my head recently and trying to rectify is like, like I said, all these projects, they take time, right?
Mhm.
You could film with your phone and turn something around like almost instantaneously. But what's been bouncing around in my head is like hard is the point, right? What you and I do uh is difficult, and the end result is better because of that. So,
Yes,
like,
I
the
think so.
the amount of effort that goes into it, is equal to the value that is, gotten out of it, and that's really where I'm trying to live in my head recently.
Yeah, well, I think that if you're going to ask people to, especially if you're gonna ask people to pay you for it, you want it to be your best work. I mean, there are, and it could be so there are, like you said, there are people who can turn and burn way better than way better than me. But I don't wanna do anything meaningless.
Mm.
And the less I do meaningless stuff, the less stuff I do. So,
There's a
you
lot of
know,
meaningless stuff, yeah.
there's a lot of meaningless stuff, and that's really how I ended up being, you know, to this day, I'm like, "I'd like to share this on social media, but I don't want to be on social media, so I'm just gonna keep it to myself. I'll put it
Mhm.
in my blog posts, I'll put it in my newsletter," and that's where, that's where I send the newsletter to people who signed up because they wanted to hear what I had to say.
Right.
And the people who subscribe to Destination Delmarva, to Day Drinking on Delmarva, they subscribe for what you could do a video on Day Drinking on Delmarva anytime you want it. Like, you really can
Y
just do
yeah,
it.
yeah.
Um, and why would I don't want to fight for people who only have a 30-second attention span.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
they're not gonna read my $12,000 word essays. They're not gonna listen to my winding stories that you have to get all the way to the end to get the point.
Mhm.
If you wanna know quick and fast and vaguely, I'm not your guy. And
Yeah,
so why would I fight to get you to listen? Because you're not gonna be happy, and I'm
yeah,
doing something I don't wanna do.
yeah.
So, again, I've quoted him before, even though I don't know his name. It's one of the, famous television writers, so
Mhm.
David R. Kelly or whatever, but, Norman Lear or somebody famously said, "Make the show you want, because 'cause you're gonna get fired anyway."
Yes. Yeah,
And so that's really where I've kind of come in my career is, I'm just gonna make the stuff I want, and, if hopefully enough people will buy it that I don't have to get a job at Walmart.
yeah.
Um, yeah.
Or in a kitchen at at your local restaurant.
I'll tell you what, you're built for that shit, you
I am.
really are. Don't let them know that you're getting more fun out of it than you're
Yeah,
supposed to.
right,
They'll stop
right.
paying you. As a matter of fact, I'll bet if they stopped paying you, it would take you a month to notice.
Yeah. It definitely would.
Your
It
wife would be
definitely
like,
would.
"Where's your paycheck?" Think, "Oh, I don't know. Have I not been getting them?"
Very true.
All right.
Very, very true.
Well, let's cut it off there because I've got so much editing to do tonight.
12 hours.
I started the show by telling Todd that I'd recorded 3 podcasts already, and he's like, "All right, well, let's screw this one up, so we have to, edit
So we
this
have
one
more
too."
more work to do.
But
Uh,
I do wanna promote the Ocean Pines cast if you'd like to listen to it. I spoke with a woman today, it'll be out in the middle of August, so I'll plug it again, but she does, uh, like a Make-A-Wish, like a low-grade Make-A-Wish foundation for old people. Like, "I'd just like
that's
to go
fun.
to a nice restaurant one more time." "Okay,
Yeah.
we can make
Yeah.
that happen."
Oh,
Yeah, it's called, like,
that's interesting.
Twilight something or other, Twilight Wishing Well or something. And then, of course, I spoke with, Mr. Cipriati and the
Uh-huh.
new head chef and he's just always a character. Like,
Big
he
sip.
literally
Yeah.
does not care what he says on the internet, which is that's my kinda guy. Between the 2 of us,
Yeah.
the last time I interviewed him, they had me cut about 12 minutes out of the show.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I mean,
Uh, and it was all
was
me.
it
I
a
mean,
12-minute section or was it just
no,
all of
no.
the F-bombs and
Yeah, and it wasn't even 12 minutes. It was just they hardly ever asked me to change anything, and, like, I just loosened up too much, and they're like, "Yeah, take that out." And I'm like, "Yeah, of course." I
yeah,
as I said it, I knew I was taking it out. So that's
yeah, yeah.
I don't even charge extra for taking out stuff that I put in
No.
knowing I'm going to have to take out.
Right, right.
But if you are thinking of starting a podcast for your business, you can reach out to me at bytonyrusso@gmail.com, or you can find me, at the linked tree in the show notes here. And I do memoirs, I do podcasts, I do all sorts of things. The Ocean Pines podcast is going very, very well, and we hope to expand on that with other towns or associations in the near future. And stay tuned for the big Destination Delmarva podcast launch that we're looking for. What do we say? September-ish?
Tw tw yes.
I
2020
said
September
I promised
2026.
I promised I told someone I was gonna start something at the beginning of 2025 yesterday.
Uh-huh.
I'm like,
Yeah.
"Well, when 2025 comes, I mean, when 2026 comes." But that'll do it for this week. I got nothing else anyway. How about you?
I got nothing.
Alright, well, remember, till next time, at the beach.
It's happy hour whenever you say it is.